That voice isn't always you. You hear it every day. That voice in your mind. The one that narrates your life. The one that says, "You're not ready. You should be better. Don't speak up. You're too much. You're not enough." Most people live their whole life under that voice without ever questioning where it came from. They think it's intuition. They think it's truth. They think it's who they are. But here's the truth. That voice isn't always you. In fact, it probably started as someone else. A parent, a teacher, a memory, a scar. And now it's become a loop, a mental script, running in the background, shaping your self-worth, blocking your confidence, controlling your choices, not through force, but through repetition. Because what's repeated becomes real. But here's the shift. Once you learn to hear it, you can start to change it. What the inner voice really is, and why it matters. Your inner voice is not just random thoughts. It's a system, a narrator, a filter between you and reality. It tells you what to believe, what to fear, what to expect from yourself and from the world. And most of the time, you don't even realize it's there. It whispers just beneath your awareness. Subtle, constant, relentless. That voice doesn't just describe your life, it defines it. If it says, "You're not good enough," you'll shrink. If it says, "They won't accept you," you'll hide. If it says, "Don't try, you'll fail," you'll never move. It becomes the limit, not of your potential, but of your belief in it. And here's why that matters. Your brain trusts repetition more than truth. It doesn't care if something is helpful. It cares if it's familiar. So if your inner voice has always been negative, self-critical, doubtful, then that becomes your emotional baseline, your default setting. And you start to confuse it with who you are. But it's not who you are. It's who you were trained to be. Every time you believed someone who tore you down, every time you internalized their judgment, their fear, their shame, you gave that voice a microphone. You gave it power. But here's the shift. If it was programmed into you, it can be reprogrammed by you. And it starts with one question. Where the voice comes from. 3 hidden origins. So where does this voice come from? If you weren't born with it, who taught you to think this way? There are 3 common sources, and most people carry all 3. 1. Parental programming. Before you could think for yourself, someone else was thinking for you. You're too much. Don't be weak. Be quiet. Why can't you be more like them? These weren't just words. They were instructions, repeated often enough. They became beliefs. And even if your parents meant well, what they said became the voice you now live with. Not because it was true, but because it came early. And it came often. 2. Emotional imprints. Sometimes the voice isn't from words. It's from wounds. Moments that hurt, that shocked, that made you feel small, rejected, or unseen. Maybe it was a breakup, an insult, a failure in public, a silence when you needed someone to speak. You didn't just feel the pain, you made a rule around it. Don't show too much. Don't try again. It's safer to stay quiet. That rule became your inner voice, protective, but limiting. 3. Social and cultural scripts. Then comes society, teachers, media, friends, all telling you, be nice but not too confident. Stand out but not too much. Be real, but don't make people uncomfortable. So you adapt, you shrink, you self-monitor every word, and the voice becomes a script, written to keep you acceptable, not authentic. Put them together, and you've got a voice that isn't yours, but speaks louder than anything else in your mind. And you wonder why you hesitate, why you doubt, why you feel like something's off, even when everything looks fine. It's not you. It's the echo of everything you've absorbed. But if you can trace the source, you can take away its authority. And once the voice is exposed, you can start hearing it for what it is. Old code, not current truth. How the voice controls you, and why it feels like truth. That voice in your mind, it doesn't scream, it whispers. And that's what makes it powerful. Doesn't need proof. It just needs repetition. It doesn't need to be right. It just needs to feel familiar. And over time, familiar starts to feel like truth. You don't question it. You follow it. You act on it. Automatically. You don't apply for the opportunity. Because the voice says, you're not qualified. You don't speak up. Because the voice says, you'll sound stupid. You don't ask for more. Because the voice says, be grateful for what you have. And you think that's you being smart, or you being realistic, or you being humble. But it's not strategy. It's conditioning. The voice isn't guiding you. It's limiting you. And the most dangerous part, it sounds like you. Same tone, same words, same rhythm. So you never stop to ask, who put this here? When did I decide this was true? Because you probably never did. It was handed to you, installed, reinforced, until you forgot there was ever another way to think. But here's the shift. Once you notice the voice, you don't have to obey it. You don't have to fight it. Just stop following it blindly. Because the moment you pause and ask, is this voice mine? You begin to take your power back. Three cold mind strategies to reprogram the inner voice. You can't erase the voice, but you can replace it. Line by line, thought by thought, frame by frame. Here's how cold mind does it. 1. Label the voice. When it speaks, don't respond. Observe, then label it. That's the critic. That's fear. That's my father's voice. That's the past talking. Why? Because what you can label, you can separate. And what you can separate, you can silence. If it's not you, it doesn't get to run you. 2nd, challenge the statement. Don't just hear the voice, confront it. Ask, is this actually true? Or is it just something I've heard 100 times? Where did I learn this? Who benefits if I keep believing it? You don't need a fight. You need clarity. Because most inner voices fall apart the moment you shine logic on them. 3. Install a new default. You can't live in mental silence, so install something stronger. Not fake affirmations, not hype, just neutral, grounded commands. Examples. I don't need to be perfect to move. I'm allowed to take space. My fear is not my decision maker. I don't trust the old voice. I trust my actions. Say it out loud. Write it. Repeat it until that becomes familiar. Because the brain believes what it hears most often, even if it's wrong. So feed it better. These aren't just tricks. They're upgrades. You're not silencing the voice. You're replacing the system. And once the system changes, so does the story it tells. Final message. If you don't choose the voice, it will be chosen for you. The voice in your mind is always speaking. The only question is, who's speaking through it? If you don't choose that voice, someone else already has. If you don't question it, it becomes law. And if you don't reprogram it, it will continue running your life. With the same fears, the same doubts, the same limits you've carried for years. You can't become someone new while listening to the same old narrator. That voice doesn't need to be louder. It needs to be clearer, sharper. Yours. Not your parents', not your past, not your pain. Yours. Because in the end, the most powerful mind is not the loudest, but the one that knows which voice to trust. In the next video, we'll expose the hidden identity you've been performing and show you how to dismantle it, step by step. Subscribe. Decode the voice. Reclaim the mind.